you doing? This is KC. Sorry it's been a minute. I've been working real hard on my short film. And in this video, we're going to talk about the Justice League. There's going to be some spoilers. We're going to talk about the problems and some possible solutions that they can do to fix the complete clusterfuck of what they're doing in their DC cinematic universe. My first overall reaction to Justice League was I liked it. It was okay. It wasn't as bad as Batman versus Superman because, everybody knows that movie was visually good, poorly written. They hit the nail on the head with the costume design and everything. The fight sequences were okay. The action sequences was okay, but the whole movie cohesively just did not make sense. There was a lot of elements that pretty much copied directly from Marvel's cinematic universe, more specifically Avengers Age of Ultron. If you're fans of the DC universe, you guys would have seen Justice League War. I think they could have took a little bit more liberties from the animation and integrated it with the live action. First and foremost, we start with Batman, of course. In Justice League War, they started with Batman trying to chase down a parademon because ultimately he's kind of like getting framed for like stuff that he didn't commit because people are assuming a bat-like creature is causing havoc within Gotham City, which of course brings the Batman into play. Before I continue, let's just stop and look at the overall design of the parademon. It just looked like a dude with a suit on. With a suit, he had boots, he had on goggles, and maybe perhaps they were trying to make it more or pay homage to the comic book, but it's called a parademon. Make it look like a demon. I would make it look like a space alien. In other words, I would just don't have it have human legs. Don't have it have human hands. Make it look more like a monster. That's just my opinion. I'm pretty sure a lot of people agree with me. So first and foremost, the costume design of the parademon was just terrible. Second, let's go back into the beginning of Justice League and Justice League War and compare them. In Justice League War, Batman is obviously chasing down this parademon in war. He kind of like runs into Green Lantern. Okay, I understand we don't want to bring Green Lantern into this movie, which I don't even know why, because he is a founding member of the Justice League. But in Justice League, the live action, they could have just made the danger a little bit more heightened. They could have had Batman almost dying fighting this parademon, him shooting his batarang or bat cable, and he's hanging on for dear life while the parademon is flying around the city like they did in Justice League War. I would have preferred to see that to give it a little bit more heightened danger, like, oh snap, this is the beginning of the movie and Batman is possibly gonna die. Now, of course, he doesn't die and he captures the parademon. I would have had him at least analyze like a blood sample so you can kind of determine like, okay, well, this creature is not human. Where does this creature come from? Let's analyze the blood. Let's see like, wow, like this blood doesn't even originate on Earth. Let's establish that this is a creature from another world or perhaps another galaxy or universe. Third, I would have had more of a plot device for Batman to meet the other heroes. Like, of course, he already got the device from Lex Luthor to alerting him of the presence of these, meta-humans. But I would have had him have to go to Central City, which brings us to the Flash. I wouldn't have had the Flash, but I wouldn't have made him just becoming the Flash and he just pushes people out of the way. Like, to me, that is stupid. Everyone who's a fan knows and watches the Flash series. They could have had him 3 or 4 years into being the Flash and having a little bit more control over his abilities. Maybe give us something that we haven't seen. That would have been fantastic. You know, the way they handled the Speed Force and him running in slow motion, it was good. It wasn't anything that we haven't seen. I mean, in Avengers Age of Ultron, we got Quicksilver. Perfect demonstration of him running super fast, and everything else is in slow motion. Then of course we have Quicksilver in X-Men. Fantastic way of bringing that visualization of him running super fast and everything is like in stop motion. But I think they could have added a little bit more creativity to this version of the Flash. My version of the script, I would have had them come together. Flash is obviously a forensic scientist. He's not studying or going into the police. He's already in the police force and been doing his job for years. So between the Batman's detective mind and the Flash's forensic scientific ability, they could have surmised like, hey, this creature doesn't originate here on Earth. And if I had better equipment, I could probably kind of figure out a little bit more. Hey, Batman, let's go to Star Labs. And then we segue into them running into Cyborg and his father. And we give a little backstory of Cyborg's origin. To me, DC just, hey, let's have this good action piece of Aquaman. Let's have this good action piece of Wonder Woman, The Flash, Batman, Cyborg, and just make a mud pie of cool action sequences, but with zero story and zero character buildup. That was another thing. I think what DC needs to do is, sorry Zack Snyder, but he should step down. They should get someone like Gareth Evans, who directed The Raid and The Raid 2, and hire him to direct the ensemble. Because what I see is DC is like spending buttloads of money to catch up to Marvel. And if you look at Marvel's format, they pretty much hire directors who they're good, but they don't cost like millions of dollars. And they're willing to take a risk. That's the whole thing. Marvel's like, you know what? The director who directed Thor Ragnarok, I'm not saying he's not a good director, but I think people really didn't hear of him until Thor Ragnarok. So I'm pretty sure they may have said, hey, we're going to give you $800,000 or $1.5 million to direct Thor. So now their cost has already dropped down. Even when they first hired Chris Hemsworth to play Thor, it's relatively unknown. I'm not saying that he wasn't a good actor, but you only seen him for like a couple of seconds in the first Star Trek. Now he's Thor. They kind of like got him low and built him up. They're not spending like what Ben Affleck is probably like $15 million for Batman. Other than that, thank you for listening and watching. I plan to do more and more videos. Click on the link down below to subscribe. Selling t-shirts. So here's one of my t-shirts. Respect Elohim. It means respect the creator, respect God. You can click on the link right here. It'll take you directly to the site where I'm selling. Stay blessed and see you soon.